Good morning. It's a beautiful late spring morning here in Northwest Ohio. I want to thank you for joining me on today's vlog. I'm not nerdy Catholic, and I want to help evangelicals and Catholics find common ground. I've been thinking a lot lately about this video that came out recently with Pope Francis and this little boy who asked him about his father. He said that his father was an atheist, but that he and his 3 siblings baptized. And he said that his father has died, and he wanted to know if he was in heaven. This clip caused a lot of controversy among people, because even though Pope Francis didn't come right out and say that the boy's father was in heaven, he certainly implied it. Now, there are many reasons why people could find controversy in the fact that Pope Francis would say that this boy's father is in heaven. If you're an evangelical, you could say, well, he never accepted Christ into his heart. If you're a Catholic, you'd say, well, he was never baptized. He never received the sacraments. He never received communion. He never received the Eucharist. And so how could he be in heaven? He even said outright that he was an atheist. And so how could Pope Francis say that he is in heaven if he never did any of these things? And Pope Francis focused on the one thing that he did know that this boy's father did. He had his children baptized. And he said, if someone has no faith, why would he have his children baptized? And so Pope Francis looked at the one thing that he knew in this boy's father's life that showed faith, that he had his children baptized. And he said, that shows that there was something in his heart. What I think Pope Francis is focusing on here is something that we all need to remember and we all need to focus on, is that Jesus Christ is the ultimate judge. Jesus Christ is the one that is going to say whether someone ends up in heaven or not. It is not our place to say. And what we need to do is we need to have hope. We need to be able to look at the good things in people's lives and say, look, they are being drawn toward Jesus. Even if it is something as small as wanting to have your children baptized, that showed that there was some amount of hope in this man's heart. Even though he didn't know what he believed, even though he might have thought that he didn't believe in God, why would you have your children baptized if there was no possibility of hope behind what happened in baptism? I want to get these bunnies. There are bunnies hopping around all over the place, and yet they keep running away from me. The 3 theological virtues are faith, hope, and love. And in that passage it says, after that, the greatest of these is love. And so we focus so much on love. But I think it's important to focus on hope as well. We need to have hope that God is in control. We need to have hope that for our own life and for our own salvation, that God knows what He is doing. I know that it is so easy for me to find hope in my own strength, for me to find hope in my own skills and my own talents. But I need to always remember that Jesus wants what is best for me. He is going to do whatever He can to lead me to heaven. And God is working in my heart at every moment of my life. And so when I think about this boy's father, the fact that he wanted to have his children baptized showed that there was some There's some work that was happening in his heart. Can I say whether this boy's father is in heaven? Of course I can't. I don't know whether I can't tell if anyone's in heaven. The only people that I know are in heaven are the people that the church recognizes as saints. But saying someone is a saint says that you know that they are in heaven. There's no way we can tell that someone is not in heaven. And so when Pope Francis implies that this boy's father is in heaven, he's not guaranteeing that his father is in heaven. What he is saying is he does not know that he is not in heaven. I know that that might feel like splitting straws, but I think it's an important point to think about. Now, I don't know the intentions behind what Pope Francis said, but I have to give him the benefit of the doubt and think that he was only trying to comfort this boy, that he wanted to help strengthen this boy's faith. He didn't want this boy to grow up thinking that God was punishing his father because he didn't know what he believed. Do I think that Pope Francis was trying to imply a universal salvation? I don't think so. I wouldn't want this boy to grow up in a world where he thought that God just picked on people, that God looked and waited for people to mess up. I want this boy to grow up in a world where he is seeking God, but where he is seeking a loving and just and hopeful God. I want this boy to grow up in a world where he can look for hope and he can find hope. And I want this boy to grow up in a world where God loves him and where he is seeking God with all of his heart. If we do what many people are quick to do and say, well, this boy's father never accepted Christ into his heart. He was never baptized. He never received any of the sacraments, that there's no way that this boy's father is in heaven. Well, this boy is going to grow up in a world where God is just there to look for every little fault and to pick on everything that we do wrong. And this boy is not going to grow up with hope. Do I know that? Of course not. But I know that hope is an easy thing to lose. And so what do we take away from this? There's so many people in this world today that don't believe in anything, that are so unsure of what they believe in, who, when they hear about God, they hear about it from people that are saying, well, he's just some spaghetti monster in the sky, or some imaginary deity. When many people in the world today are talking about God, they're not talking about the infinite creator of the universe. They're not talking about being itself. They're talking about something so much smaller than that. And so I can understand if that is what this boy's father heard about God. I can understand him saying, I don't believe in that. But I also want to go back to the fact that he had his children baptized. And so he thought, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something that I need to do to protect my children. And if there is a God out there, then maybe I need to do whatever I can to help my children. We need to always hope for the best. We need to have a hope that God is in control and that God is going to help each of us. There are things that we need to do in order to seek God, but God will find us when we seek for him. And we need to approach everyone in this world with hope that God is working in their lives as much as he is working in our lives. And we need to have hope, not just for ourselves, but for the whole world and for everyone in this world. But we need to always remember that God is in control and God is working in everyone's lives, myself and yours and everyone in this world. God is working in everyone's hearts to draw them to himself. We need to help people see what God is doing in their lives. That is our job. Our job is to point out where God is working in our lives and in others. But God is the one that is going to draw them to himself. You can watch another video up here. If you like what I'm doing on this channel and you want to join this community, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button if you like this video, and that little church bell to get a notification when I put up a new video. I'll see you again later. God bless.